Intuition isn't magic. It's your inner clarity once your nervous system has a little room to breathe. In the next 10 minutes, you'll learn one simple way to tell the difference between your intuition and your stress response, so you can make calmer decisions with students, even on the days when you feel completely maxed out. Welcome to the Voice of the Student podcast, where real student stories meet the science of well-being, energy, and learning. Hi, I'm Dr. Kelly Spence, a well-being specialist, education advocate, and author of The Voice of the Student, here to help reimagine education so that teachers are better resourced, students are truly seen, and classrooms become places where both can thrive. This space is dedicated to you, the hardworking teacher and educator, offering grounded, science-backed, energetically aware strategies to support your well-being so your classrooms can better meet and exceed the needs of your unique 21st century students. So take a breath, settle in, and let's explore how caring for your nervous system, your intention, and your energy is one of the most powerful ways to transform education from the inside out. Everything in this movement to reimagine education for both teachers and students rests on a simple truth. When we regulate the adult nervous system first, we create the conditions for adolescent brains to feel safe enough to learn, take risks, and engage more fully in the education experience. When your body is grounded and your energy is intentional, you can design a classroom that works with, not against, the teenage brain, so well-being and learning rise together. If you listened to episode 16 on burnout and the adolescent brain, you heard me say that burnout isn't a personal failure. It's a nervous system response to chronic stress and a set of conditions that aren't sustainable. You might have even recognized yourself in some of those signs: exhaustion, irritability, brain fog, or that sinking dread when you think about going to work, certain classes, or weekly meetings. When you're in that state, it's really hard to make decisions that feel aligned with who you are as a teacher and as a person. You might find yourself overreacting in the moment, saying yes to things you don't have capacity for, or swinging between "I have to fix everything right now" and "I'm done, I quit, I just don't care anymore." That's not because you're a bad teacher or you truly hate what you're doing. It's what happens when your nervous system is stuck in fight, flight, or freeze for far too long. Intuition is one of the first things to get drowned out in that kind of environment. The quiet, steady part of you that knows what matters, what feels true, and what you actually need gets buried under urgency, pressure, and noise. Today's episode is about gently reconnecting with that inner knowing in a more grounded, sustainable way. Not as something mystical or fluffy, but as another kind of resource and data that can help you make calmer, more sustainable choices in the middle of a dysregulated school day. So when I say intuition in the context of teaching, I'm talking about your inner knowing, your ability to sense what matters, what feels right for you and your students, and what your next best step might be, even when you don't have all the information. It's the part of you that notices patterns, reads the room, and picks up on the subtle cues that your logical brain hasn't fully named yet. From a brain and body perspective, intuition shows up as quieter, steadier information. It might feel like a calm yes, a gentle no, or a sense of ease or relief around one choice compared to another. It doesn't usually come with shouting, panic, or catastrophizing. Those things are much more often the voice of stress, fear, or old conditioning. So let's briefly talk about what intuition is not. Intuition is not the same as fear. Fear says, if I don't fix this right now, everything will fall apart. Intuition might say, this situation matters, but I can take one small step today and come back to it later when I have more information or the situation feels calmer. Intuition is not urgency. Urgency is that all or nothing pressure that says you have to decide right now or you're failing. Intuition is more spacious. It often says, you can take a breath. You can ask for more information. You can respond a little bit later. Intuition is not overthinking. Overthinking spins in pros and cons, reviews the same conversation 10 times, and never really lands or goes anywhere productive. Intuition may come as one clear sentence, an image, or a sense of knowing in your body, something that feels like, that is enough for now, or this is the best next step in this situation. One way to start noticing the difference is to pay attention to how your body feels around a decision. Stress often shows up as tightness in your chest or your jaw, a racing heart, shallow breathing, or a sense of collapse. Intuition, even when it's nudging you towards something hard or challenging, usually brings a little more breath, a bit more spaciousness, a tiny bit more groundedness, or a sense of, this feels honest, even if it's uncomfortable. So I want to give you something you can actually use starting tomorrow. Think of this as a 2-minute intuition pause you can take before you respond in a moment that matters, whether that's a student conflict, an email, a tense text, a grading decision, or a hallway conversation. This is a version of what I walk you through in my mini course, Intuition, Intention, and Imagination for Teachers, available on my website that's linked below. You can do this standing at your desk, in the hallway, or sitting in your car before you walk into a meeting. So step 1, you're going to notice the moment. First, catch yourself in the moment. Maybe you feel your jaw clench when a student rolls their eyes, or your stomach drop when you see a new email from a particular parent or administrator. Just name it internally, like, my body is activated right now. That simple act of noticing is already shifting you from automatic reaction into personal awareness. Step 2, regulate just enough. So next, you want to give your nervous system a tiny reset, not a full day at the spa, just a few seconds. You might take 2 or 3 slow, gentle breaths, keeping your eyes open if that feels safer, or you can use a quick 3-3-3 check-in. Notice 3 things you can see, 3 things you can hear, and move 3 parts of your body. Wiggle your fingers, roll your shoulders, move your toes. You're not trying to be perfectly calm. You're just helping your system come down 1 notch so you have access to more of your brain. And step 3, ask 1 clean question. You're then going to ask yourself 1 clear, centering question. I like something like, if I were already the grounded teacher I want to be, what would I do next? Or, what choice here would be most honest and sustainable for me and my students, or a specific student if that applies? Keep it simple, just 1 question. You're inviting your deeper knowing to have a moment and a voice, instead of letting stress run the whole show. And then step 4, listen for the quality of the answer. The final step is to listen, not for a booming voice from the sky, but for the quality of the answer that comes. Does it feel a little steadier, kinder, more realistic? Or does it feel panicked, rushed, punishing, or all or nothing? Intuition-aligned answers often sound like, you can set a boundary and still care about this student. Or you can say, I need to think about this and get back to you. Or you can choose the smaller step today and revisit the bigger change later. Stress-driven answers often sound like, you have to fix this right now or you're a bad teacher and bad at your job. Or say yes, or they'll think you're not a team player. Or if you don't pile on consequences, you're being too soft and your students will take advantage of you and overtake the entire classroom. You don't have to get this perfect. The goal is not the perfect decision. The goal is moving from automatic reaction to a more oriented, grounded response, one that respects your nervous system and your students' developing brains. So let's put this into real school life with a few classroom examples. Example number 1, a dysregulated student. Imagine a student slams a book on the desk and mutters something under their breath. Your stress response might say, you have to address that right now in front of everyone or you'll lose control of the class. Your body tightens, your heart rate jumps, and you feel that heat rise in your face and that knot forms in your stomach. If you take a 2-minute intuition pause, even if it's really a 20-second one, it might sound like this inside. Okay, my body is activated. I'm going to take a slow breath while I finish this sentence on the board, and if I were already the grounded teacher I want to be, what would I do next? And the answer might be, give a short, calm reminder to the class, then circle back to that student privately at the door when they're not being watched by 30 of their peers. That choice still holds a boundary, but it also protects their nervous system and yours. Responding in this way, you're working with the adolescent brain instead of against it. Example number 2, an email or extra obligation. Or maybe you get an email asking you to take on 1 more committee, chaperone 1 more event, or pilot 1 more initiative. Your stress response might say, if I say no, they'll think I'm not committed. Your nervous system might already be maxed out, but urgency and people-pleasing jump in. Your intuition pause might sound like, "Ooh, my stomach just dropped when I read that. I'm going to roll my shoulders back, take 2 breaths, and ask what would be most honest and sustainable for me and my students right now." The intuitive answer might be, "Thank you for thinking of me. I don't have the capacity to take that on right now and still show up well for my students." That's not selfish. That's you protecting the very energy that your classroom depends on. Remember from earlier episodes, and if you have the Engaged Classroom online course, that you are the dominant, most influential energy in your room. When you protect that energy, you're also protecting your students' learning environment. So as you practice this, you'll start to notice a pattern. Intuition helps you sense what feels aligned. Intention helps you decide how you want to show up. And imagination helps you redesign what isn't working in more creative ways. Those 3 together, intuition, intention, and imagination, are the foundation of my newly released Wellbeing Reset for Teachers mini-course. In that mini-course, we take exactly what we talked about today and in previous episodes and go deeper. We explore what intuition is and what it isn't, how stress disconnects you from your inner clarity, how intention shapes the energy you bring into the room, and how imagination helps you redesign draining routines into something more aligned for both you and your students. If this episode sparks something in you, and if you're craving a way back to yourself in the middle of a very real, very demanding job, that mini course was created with you in mind. So as you head into the rest of your week, I want to leave you with a simple reflection question. When you look back at this past week, what's one moment where you wish you had paused to check in with your intuition before reacting? And what might you choose differently next time? Feel free to jot it down, record a voice note about it, or share it with a trusted colleague. Or if you're comfortable, share it in the comments below so we can learn from each other. Thank you for spending this time with the Voice of the Student. Here, teacher well-being is not an afterthought, it's the foundation. When the adult nervous system is grounded, classrooms become safer, more human spaces where the adolescent brain can finally exhale, engage, and thrive. If this episode on teaching with intuition sparked ideas for your classroom or your life as an educator, imagine what's possible with the step-by-step roadmap and a community of educators doing this work alongside you. Head over to thevoiceofthestudent.com to learn more about my foundational self-paced online course, The Engaged Classroom, and my Teacher Wellbeing Reset mini course, Intuition, Intention, and Imagination for Teachers, both designed to help you reconnect with your nervous system, your values, and your voice so you can create a more grounded, enjoyable, and engaged classroom. If this episode had supported you, please like, subscribe, and follow The Voice of the Student and share it with one teacher friend. Together, we can elevate the teacher-student experience, one nervous system, one class, one student, one teacher, and one school at a time. Your energy, your intention, and your voice matter more than you know. Listen, innovate, educate. Thanks for listening and for all that you do. Until next time on The Voice of the Student.